it's me, your self-proclaimed obnoxious e-girl and resident online artist. How do you do? So back in the distant month of April, I started taking on some bigger projects, and by bigger projects I mean animations, which is in the title. And I thought it would be interesting, or at least worth documenting, the sort of behind the scenes of these projects because there is a lot that goes into them. And I thought that for the people who care and appreciate it, I would like to share that with them. So let's get into it. I have done 3 animations within the year 2021, but the one we're going to be focusing on today is called A Lonely, Hungry Boris. I made this animation for Life of Boris, epic Slav YouTuber guy. The fact that he wanted to include this in his own animation video is just beyond crazy because I am literally lower than a beginner when it comes to anything animation related. But I like tedious work, so I was like, cool, let me try. If we pop into my program here, this is what we have. This program is not built for animation in any convenient capacity, so unless you're literally insane, don't use this as a guide. Anyway, because this is an Adobe drawing app, all of my drawings and animations are here in one spot. For convenience sake, here is The Lonely Hungry Boris. As you can see, I have it split into 4 projects. The reason for that is because it gets very confusing when you have more than maybe 50 frames in one project. We'll get into that later because this isn't even the beginning of the project. This is. And wow, you cannot even see it. This is essentially my storyboard. I have no idea how you actually storyboard, but close enough, right? Everything that's drawn here is how the entire story was originally supposed to play out. I initially thought it would take a lot more content for me to get up to 30 seconds worth of footage, so that's why all of this is here. What I ended up animating was just this top section. You can see all my shoddy attempts at math here around the edges, just ignore that. But yeah, all of this revolved around the cat hatting segment, so all I really had to do was think of a story to go with it. If you look at this entire thing, you can see that I didn't even include the parts where Artyom brings the album or Boris grabs his skateboard because I literally hadn't thought of it yet, and there was no time for me to redraw this whole storyboard, so I just kinda drew it as I went along and prayed that it would fit properly. Artyom was actually supposed to get his own skateboard as well, but like I said, no time, so I just went heavy. Oh, I need to put this down. Comrade Cat Polaroid is one of those. If you want to look for more of them, please check out the video because there's a lot and no one has really said anything about them and I think they're cute, so if you... So with the storyboard as done as it could have gotten, it was then a matter of going into the program and sketching it out segment by segment, creating a new project for each one. Every 10 frames or so, I would leave an empty layer just so it was a little bit easier to distinguish what section I was working on, especially when I needed to scroll back down through 50 frames to fix something. Since I only had about 3 days to work on this, I didn't bother with color, but I always sketch in blue. That just makes it less confusing than going in with all black or gray. I kinda blurred the lines here with what exactly constitutes line art and color, because technically when I went over and cleaned up the lines, that essentially turned it into line art, and when I filled in these sections with gray, that essentially is coloring. But I disregarded that because if I didn't do that and I just left it as a blue sketch, it would be way too confusing to tell what's going on. And because I also originally wanted to include Anatoli in this as well, and with both Boris and Anatoli running around with no distinct color differences, it would have been too confusing because Anatoli wears white. Feature and boy oh boy, how I would just love to have one of those. Basically, every 20 frames or so, I would save every frame as an image and scroll through them all in my photos to make sure everything played nicely. If everything looked fine, then I would go back into the program and continue working. That's another reason that it's split into 4 projects, so that would make it easier for me to know what I was saving images from. By the way, every 10 frames equals about 1 second. That 1 second worth of 10 frames takes about an hour to complete. That's why this project is almost 300 frames long and took me almost 30 hours to complete. And I just won't shut up about it. Would I do a project like this again? Well, yes, because I still have part 2 and everything that's left here on this storyboard to finish. But would I ever work at that pace again? No, the project caused me all because I wanted to impress some Slav guy, but at the end of the day, I am very proud of all the work I put into it, and I'm very thankful for all of you who like it as well. Recap of how the last animation was made if I'm motivated. So that concludes my recap of how the last animation was made. If I'm motivated enough, I might document the making process of part 2, but I'm not entirely sure yet because I don't really think that the process will be that much different from how this one went, but who knows. Nice day. Have a good day.